The inner voice is a common phenomenon that can be either positive or negative. According to a New Scientist Mind article, the inner voice can be caring, supportive, negative, or critical. Learning to control this internal monologue could help you cope with daily stress. Here are some strategies that can help you control your inner voice. Understand when it comes alive. By being self-aware, it allows us to understand ourselves we wouldn't normally recognize. Understanding when our negative inner voice comes alive is an essential step in developing self-awareness. This self-awareness involves recognizing our patterns of negative thinking, the situations that trigger them, and how they affect our emotions and behaviors. Often, these internal voices stem from past experiences, societal pressures, or deep-seated beliefs about ourselves. By becoming aware of these patterns, we can begin to challenge and change them. This process starts with mindfulness, the practice of being present and fully engaged with the here and now, without being overly reactive or overwhelmed by what's going on around us. It requires observing our thoughts and feelings without judgment. By doing so, we can identify the specific circumstances or thoughts that trigger our negative inner voice and understand how it influences our mood and actions. This awareness is the first step towards gaining control over these thoughts and replacing them with more positive, constructive narratives. For example, consider a person who consistently feels inadequate in social situations. Through self-awareness, they might realize that their negative inner voice becomes particularly loud during interactions with new people, telling them they're not interesting or likable. This realization could stem from a mindfulness practice where they pay close attention to their thoughts and feelings in different contexts. Upon recognizing this pattern, the individual can begin to understand its origins, perhaps linking it to a past experience of social rejection or to messages received in childhood about their worth. With this understanding, they can start to question and challenge these negative beliefs. They might remind themselves of past successes in social situations or affirm their positive qualities, gradually weakening the power of the negative inner voice. Over time, this practice can lead to a significant shift in self-perception and an increased sense of confidence in social interactions. Writing. Writing is a great way to change a negative inner voice. Writing is an effective technique for transforming a negative inner voice into a more positive and empowering one. The act of writing down thoughts and feelings helps in externalizing them, making it easier to analyze and understand these internal narratives. This process can be particularly beneficial for those who struggle with persistent negative self-talk, as it allows for a clear, tangible representation of these thoughts. Journaling, for instance, is a method where individuals can express their innermost thoughts and emotions without fear of judgment or consequence. It provides a safe space to confront and dissect negative beliefs, and in doing so, helps in identifying patterns and triggers of such thoughts. Writing also facilitates a more objective perspective, allowing individuals to challenge irrational or exaggerated negative thoughts by questioning their validity and looking for evidence that contradicts them. This practice of writing can lead to a more balanced and realistic self-assessment, replacing self-criticism with self-compassion and understanding. For example, imagine a person who consistently feels inadequate at work, plagued by a negative inner voice that tells them they are not competent or successful enough. By maintaining a daily journal, they can start to document these thoughts, noting when and why they occur. Through writing, they might realize that their negative self-talk intensifies during team meetings or when receiving feedback. As they continue to write, they can begin to question the accuracy of these thoughts. They might reflect on instances where they received positive feedback, completed projects successfully, or contributed valuable ideas in meetings. This written record serves as tangible evidence against their negative beliefs, helping to gradually shift their perspective. The act of writing not only externalizes their inner dialogue, but also allows them to reframe and reconstruct it into a narrative that acknowledges their strengths and accomplishments, fostering a more positive and realistic self-view. Have a performance coach. A performance coach can help you identify and overcome negative self-talk. Having a performance coach is a valuable strategy for addressing and overcoming negative self-talk. A performance coach is trained to help individuals identify their limiting beliefs and the negative narratives that hold them back from achieving their full potential. They work collaboratively with their clients to uncover the root causes of negative self-talk, often tracing these patterns back to past experiences or ingrained thought habits. Through this process, a coach provides not only insight, but also practical tools and strategies for challenging and changing these unhelpful thought patterns. This might include cognitive behavioral techniques, mindfulness exercises, and goal setting to foster a more positive and constructive internal dialogue. A performance coach acts as an objective observer, offering a fresh perspective and encouraging a shift from self-criticism to self-empowerment. Their support and guidance can be instrumental in building confidence, enhancing personal growth, and improving overall performance in various aspects of life, including career, relationships, and personal well-being. For instance, consider an individual who consistently doubts their capabilities at work, often thinking they're not smart enough or skilled enough to succeed in their role. This person decides to work with a performance coach to address these feelings of inadequacy. Through coaching sessions, they begin to uncover that their negative self-talk stems from a highly critical upbringing, where they were often told they weren't good enough. The coach helps them recognize how these past experiences have shaped their current thought patterns. Together, they work on reframing these thoughts, focusing on the individual's achievements and strengths. The coach might assign exercises such as daily affirmations, reflection on past successes, and setting small but achievable goals to build confidence. Over time, with the coach's guidance, the individual learns to replace their negative inner voice with a more supportive and encouraging one, leading to enhanced performance at work and a more positive outlook on their abilities. Exercise. A quick way to get hold of that negative inner voice is by exercising. Exercise is a powerful tool for managing the negative inner voice, the critical internal dialogue that can contribute to stress, anxiety, and low self-esteem. Engaging in physical activity has been shown to have a profound impact on mental health, partly because it stimulates the release of endorphins, which are natural mood lifters. These biochemical changes in the brain can lead to an improved sense of well-being, reducing feelings of negativity and pessimism. Furthermore, exercise can act as a form of meditation in motion, helping to break the cycle of negative thoughts. When we focus on the rhythm of our movements, whether it's the steady cadence of a run, the concentration required in a yoga pose, or the coordination in a dance routine, we engage our minds in the present moment. This mindfulness can create a mental break from the incessant chatter of our inner critic, offering a sense of calm and clarity. For example, consider someone who struggles with self-doubt and negative self-talk. When this person begins to incorporate regular jogging into their routine, they might initially find it challenging. However, as they continue to jog, they become more focused on their breathing, the sensation of their feet hitting the pavement, and the rhythm of their stride. This focus pulls their attention away from negative thoughts, creating a mental respite. Over time, not only do they experience the physical benefits of jogging, but they also begin to notice a shift in their mental state. The combination of endorphins and the meditative aspect of the exercise helps in quieting the negative inner voice, replacing it with a more positive outlook. The sense of accomplishment after each run further boosts their self-esteem, gradually transforming the inner dialogue from one of criticism to one of encouragement and self-appreciation. Let it speak, then tell it to FK off. This strategy involves acknowledging the negative inner voice and then telling it to go away. The strategy of let it speak, then tell it to F off is a bold and direct approach to dealing with negative self-talk. It involves first acknowledging and listening to the negative inner voice, rather than trying to suppress or ignore it. This acknowledgement is crucial as it allows an individual to consciously recognize the presence and content of their self-critical thoughts. By identifying these thoughts, one can understand their nature and origin, which is often the first step in addressing them. After acknowledging these thoughts, the next step is to assertively reject them. This rejection is done by mentally or verbally telling the negative thoughts to go away, using strong and decisive language. This method empowers the individual to take control over their internal dialogue, sending a clear message to their subconscious that these negative beliefs are neither helpful nor welcome. It's a practice that can build mental resilience and a sense of agency over one's own mind. For example, imagine someone who is preparing for a job interview and is overwhelmed by thoughts like, "I'm not good enough for this job," or "I'm going to fail." Using this strategy, the individual first takes a moment to recognize these thoughts, understanding that they stem from fear and insecurity. Instead of letting these thoughts spiral out of control, the person then firmly tells themselves, "No, I won't listen to this. Fuck off negative thoughts." They might follow this up with positive affirmations or evidence of their qualifications and past successes to reinforce their self-belief. This act of confronting and then dismissing the negative inner voice helps to diminish its power, allowing the individual to approach the interview with greater confidence and a more positive mindset. Over time and with consistent practice, this approach can transform one's inner dialogue into a more supportive and encouraging companion, aiding in personal growth and success. According to Psychology Today, once people have identified the areas in which they limit themselves, they can begin to change. They can do this by taking two actions: not engaging in the self-destructive behavior that is being encouraged by the critical inner voice, and increasing the positive behaviors that go against the recommendations of the voice. Finally, About My Brain suggests that practicing meditation, breathing exercises, spending time out in nature, and pursuing your hobbies can all help calm the critical and obstructive thoughts. I hope these strategies help you control your inner voice and lead a more positive life. Let me know if you have any other questions.